Hello. Welcome to the Formula 1 Encyclopedia channel. Today we will tell a little bit about the history of the Alfa Romeo team, the car of the first Formula 1 world champion. We will tell a bit about the brand's history, and also its trajectory in Formula 1. Alright, get ready to learn a little more about the history of this Italian brand. But before that, if you like Formula 1, consider subscribing to the channel to receive more information and news. Alfa Romeo is an Italian luxury car brand founded in Milan in 1910 and currently owned by Stellantis. Alfa is the acronym for the company's founding name, Anonima Lombarda Fabbrica Automobili. The brand is widely recognized for its elegant lines, with its cars mainly known for their aesthetic beauty, as well as their functional quality. The history of the brand. In 1907, Cavaliere Ugo Stella, a Milanese nobleman, and Alexander Derrick, a French car manufacturer, founded the company, Derrick Italiana, which began producing Derrick vehicles in Naples. With the end of the partnership, Stella, with the support of other Italian investors, relocated production to an inactive factory in Portello, a suburb of Milan, changing the name of the company to Alfa Anonima Lombarda Fabbrica Automobili. The first car produced entirely by the company was the 24 HP model of 1910, designed by Giuseppe Morosi, whose name was due to the power generated by its engine. Later, Morosi contributed to the development of new Alfa models, with more powerful engines ranging from 40 to 60 horsepower. Alfa also ventured into automobile racing, with drivers Franchini and Ronzoni participating in the 1911 Targa Florio driving the 24 HP models. However, with the onset of World War I, production was suspended for 3 years. In 1916, Alfa Romeo took over the company and turned it into a war factory to meet the demands of Italy and the Allies during World War I. Alfa produced ammunition, engines, and airplane parts, generators, and compressors based on the car engines they already produced, and even locomotives during the war. After the war, Alfa Romeo took full control of the company, and car production resumed in 1919. In 1920, the company changed its name to Alfa Romeo, and the first car manufactured under the new brand was the 20 to 30 HP Torpedo. Giuseppe Morosi continued as chief designer, and the company continued to produce excellent street cars and successful racing cars, including the 40 to 60 HP and the RL Targa Florio. In 1923, Enzo Ferrari, then a driver for the Alfa Romeo team, persuaded Vittorio Jano to leave Fiat and replace Giuseppe Morosi in the Alfa Romeo design team. The first model created under Jano's supervision was the P2 Grand Prix, which secured Alfa Romeo the world title in 1925. For street cars, Jano developed a series of small and medium-sized engines with 4, 6, and 8 inline cylinders based on the P2 engine, establishing the classic Alfa Romeo engine architecture, lightweight construction, hemispherical combustion chambers, centrally located spark plugs, 2 inline valves per cylinder, and a dual combustion chamber. This architecture proved to be durable and powerful. In 1928, Alfa Romeo left the Alfa Romeo company, which then went bankrupt and was controlled by the Italian government from 1933. During World War II, the Alfa Romeo factory was bombed and had difficulty recovering after the conflict. The company stopped producing luxury cars and focused on mass production of popular models. In the 1960s, Alfa Romeo became known for its small cars and its models designed especially for the Italian police, such as the Panther and the Carabinieri. Among them, the Giulia Super and the 2600 Sprint GT stand out, the latter nicknamed Inseguimento, for having been mistaken for the car used by the famous police agent and unmatched driver Armandino Spadafora in chasing thieves up a ladder in 1960. Although the black Ferrari 250 GT/E was the car used in the chase, the Giulia became legendary and was portrayed in movies. The movie, The Graduate, from 1967, starring Dustin Hoffman, elevated the status of the Alfa Romeo Spider, also known as Duetto, Oso di Seppia, or Round Tail, to celebrity status. In the 70s, Alfa Romeo went through another financial crisis. The Italian government privatized the company, and Fiat took over control in 1986. The Alfa Lancia SPA group was created, responsible for the production of Alfa Romeo and Lancia cars. Before the acquisition by Fiat, Alfa Romeo always had a bold posture in the market, experimenting with new solutions on the tracks and using them in mass production, even with the risk of commercial losses. The brand was also characterized by a controversial and unorthodox style, which always generated discussions. Alfa Romeo is known for offering a sporty driving experience for common drivers, in addition to the characteristic sound of its engines. Its owners are called Alfistas, and there are many Alfa Romeo owner clubs around the world. The brand's front grille is striking and has as its characteristic the basic design of the Scudetto, or shield, which appeared in 1934 and became consecrated in the following decades. Alfa Romeo always had a bold posture in the market, experimenting with new solutions on the tracks and using them in mass production. Its cars have become cultural symbols, and their owners are great defenders of the brand. At some point in history in Brazil, someone called the Scudetto Cour, due to its heart-like shape, confusing it with the Cour Sportivo of Alfa Romeo cars, which refers to their sport spirit or engine, often called Il Cour of the brand. Alfa Romeo cars are known worldwide for their sporty aura since the first model produced, which led to the emergence of the term Cour Sportivo, or sporty heart, which has nothing to do with the front grille. However, due to the lack of information or limited sources in Brazil, the name Cour for this element of the grille became popular and many began to wrongly call it that, creating confusion with interlocutors from other countries where the grille is known as shield in Latin countries, grille in English, or simply Scudetto, as the Italians call it. Another distinctive detail of Alfa Romeo is the trilobo, an arc with three circular sectors with a smaller radius than the arc, which join together to form salient edges. If you're enjoying this content, please leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel to continue receiving Formula 1 information. The Alfa Romeo logo. On the left side, the red cross represents the automaker's hometown, as it was the symbol of the Milanese royal family at the time. The right side of the logo shows a man being swallowed by a dragon, known as the Bishop. This was the emblem of the Visconti house, which ruled Milan between the 13th and 15th centuries. Alfa Romeo in Formula 1. Currently, Alfa Romeo is present in Formula 1 as a team and constructor, operating under the name Alfa Romeo F1 Team Stake. The team holds a Swiss license and is located in Hinwil, Switzerland, managed by Sauber Motorsport AG. The brand has participated in motor racing as a constructor and engine supplier at various times between 1950 and 1987, and later as a commercial partner starting in 2015. Its drivers won the first two World Drivers' Championships in history, Giuseppe Farina in 1950 and Juan Manuel Fangio in 1951. After these successes, Alfa Romeo left Formula 1. In 2018, the Alfa Romeo brand returned to Formula 1 as a sponsor of the Sauber team. On February 1, 2019, Sauber changed its constructor name to Alfa Romeo Racing, but the ownership and management of the team remained unchanged and independent. The history of the brand in Formula 1. In the 1950 Formula 1 season, Giuseppe Farina became champion driving the 158 with a compressor, while in 1951 Juan Manuel Fangio took the title with an Alfetta 159, which was an evolution of the 158 with two stages of compressor. After these achievements, the team withdrew from Formula 1 for a while, returning only later. In 1961, Alfa Romeo provided engines for the De Tomaso team, but without success, and the team failed to score points. Between 1962 and 1972, the brand provided engines for Cooper, LDS, McLaren and March teams, but the Alfa Romeo engine did not prove competitive during those years. Only in 1976, the brand returned as an engine supplier, this time for the Brabham team. In 1978, Alfa Romeo developed a good engine in the Brabham team, leading the team to a third place in the Constructors' Championship and fourth in the Drivers' Championship, with Niki Lauda being the best placements of the brand as a supplier. In 1979, Alfa Romeo decided to return to Formula 1 as a team, but only provided engines for Brabham, ending this cycle. The brand returned to supply engines from 1983 to 1987, and the chosen team was the small Osella. In the 1984 Dallas GP, Piercarlo Gonzani finished in 5th place, scoring 2 points, and in the Italian GP, in Monza, the team would score another 2 points if Austrian Joe Gardner were eligible for the season at Osella. In the 1988 season, Alfa Romeo engines were renamed with the name of Osella itself, which developed them alone. However, only 3 races were finished, 7 retirements and 4 non-qualifications for the starting grid, without any points scored as in previous seasons, 1985, 1986 and 1987. It was a major failure in this attempt to develop Osella itself, which led Alfa Romeo to leave the top category of speed. In 1979, Alfa Romeo returned to Formula 1 as a team, but failed to score points. Over the next 6 years, the team struggled to repeat the success of the 2 world titles won in the early 1950s. The best result was achieved in 1983, when Andrea de Cesaris finished 6th, with 18 points and 2 podiums, obtaining 2nd place in the German and South African GPs. In 1984, the team achieved its only podium with 3rd place in the Italian GP at Monza, with Riccardo Patrese at the wheel. That season, and also in 1985, Alfa Romeo had the sponsorship of the Benetton brand, which later became a team in 1986. In the 1985 season, Alfa Romeo had a disastrous performance with the 185T chassis, and its cars failed to finish the first 4 races of the championship. Trying to reverse the situation, they modified the 184T model to 184 terabytes, but the results were even worse, with no points and few finishes due to the unreliability of the engine and the gasoline restrictions imposed on turbo engines. Faced with the financial difficulties faced by the brand, the withdrawal from Formula 1 became inevitable, and in 2000, driver Riccardo Patrese described the 185T as the worst car I ever drove. The 1985 season was Alfa Romeo's last as a constructor in Formula 1, ending its participation after the final race in Australia. During that year, the team had the sponsorship of the Benetton brand. In the 2018 season, Alfa Romeo entered into a technical and commercial agreement with the Sauber team, which uses Ferrari engines. On November 29, 2017, it was announced that Alfa Romeo would be the main sponsor of the team from the 2018 season onwards, in a multi-year technical and commercial partnership agreement, resulting in the Swiss team becoming the Alfa Romeo Sauber F1 team. On December 2, 2017, a press conference was held at the Alfa Romeo Museum in Arese, Milan, to present the terms of the agreement between the FCA Group and the Sauber team, followed by a launch ceremony of the livery and driver duo composed of Charles Leclerc and Marcus Ericsson. On September 11, 2018, it was announced that the team had signed Kimi Räikkönen in exchange for Charles Leclerc, who moved to Ferrari. In the 2019 season, Alfa Romeo Racing returned as a team after Sauber was renamed. However, unlike the previous partnership with BMW, only the name of the Swiss team was changed to include the Alfa Romeo brand as a constructor. The ownership and management structure remained the same. This was the first time since 1985 that a team competed in Formula 1 under the name Alfa Romeo. In early 2020, Alfa Romeo announced a sponsorship contract with the Polish oil company PKN Orlen for several years, becoming its title sponsor. As a result, the team changed its name to Alfa Romeo Racing Orlen. This designation remained until the end of 2021, when the team chose to remove the term racing from its nomenclature and started competing from the 2022 season as Alfa Romeo F1 Team Orlen. If you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing to our channel to receive more information about Formula 1. Please leave a like to support our work and, if possible, leave a comment about what you thought of this content, so that we can improve our channel even more. Thank you and see you next time.